How do the cars feel? How do y'all feel going into the next couple races, being that we've worked on the car, and what have y'all done to the car?
I'll let you go first.
So mine, I am getting more comfortable. We had some issues throughout the year. You heard about in other videos. Motor not going full, got that situated.
Motor go full.
Computer, that is fixed, and I just picked up my computer back. We've been using Scott from Cycles. Thank you again, Scott. We can now plug mine back in, and hopefully that one should allow it to go full still. If not, we have Scott as a backup. Finally got that squared away. Only had one race under full power so far. It went decent. We need to put a little screen over my master switch because my master switch ended up getting hit mid-race and shut the car off. From here, should only be moving forward.
Had another problem at the end of the race too, didn't you?
Yeah, so luckily got through the checkered flag. Went to go pull off the track and car felt sluggish, and I was like, So I pulled off to the side, let all the other cars go around me. Knocked it back into first, went to go and just barely wanted to move. Turns out the clutch was completely gone. It was basically nothing left. We let it sit for about an hour while we did after race talking and all that, and went to go move it, and it wouldn't even move. So got that fixed. Thank you again, Scott, for coming over and showing us how and helping us.
Which actually Scott showed us. We bought a clutch online to replace the one that burned out. And Scott agreed to come over and help us put it back together because I've never worked on these before, neither has Steven. And once he started taking it apart, once he got to the back of the stack, he found out that there was no fiber disc in the back, and it was basically steel on steel at the back of the basket, or steel on aluminum, if you will, because I believe the basket's made out of aluminum. But yeah, basically he said he doesn't understand how it ever lasted as long as it did, so we got lucky that we even got it on the track and got going with it. But we've had our fair share of gremlins with this car. We had first night out, very first time on the track ever, I drove the car and I won the heat race in it. And I could tell that it was a good, strong, fast car, Steven's car. And we had a problem with fuel. When I cut the fuel lines, I forgot to flush the fuel lines out. We had little powdery rubber debris left in the lines that got deposited into the injectors. So the longer it ran, the more clogged up the injectors got, to where by the end of the race I was full throttle all the way around just to try to keep it going. We resolved that, and then we came across the issue like Steven mentioned earlier, where we couldn't get the motor over 12,000 RPM. Couldn't figure out why. Called him a liar, told him he wasn't pushing the gas all the way. So we had a test session out at Volusia. A couple of people went in and pitched in to have the test session, and I drove the car for myself and found out he's absolutely right. You know, coming out of 2, once you get out of the corner, you're basically as fast as the car's going to go. It just would not go over 12,000 RPM. So we put my computer in, and a buddy of ours up at Redline Tuning over in Daytona, he took us in after hours and helped us out, put the car on the dyno machine with my computer in his car, and we were able to hit the chip in it. We did 3 runs on it. One was just for, the last run was basically just to see how rich it was running. It was running way, way rich. And, but the 2 runs that we went full tilt on it, we were able to hit the chip on it with my computer in there. So that told us that there was something with the computer in Steven's car that wasn't allowing it to perform the way it should. So, like he said, Scott from Cycles, he had a spare computer he let us borrow. I took it to Bo Bass from Chaos Motorsports. He does all of our wiring harnesses and all of our computer flashing. Does an amazing job. He actually builds and runs mod lights. He's over in the Eustis area. Anyway, we took Steven's computer and Scott's computer over and had Scott's computer flashed to basically you have to eliminate things like launch control, wheelie control, traction control, ABS. All those things have to be deleted out of the computer because those parts are not on this car, they're on the bike. So if you don't delete it from the computer's constantly looking for it. When it doesn't find the part, it goes into fail or safe mode. So once it gets flashed and all those are deleted, then we can run them in the cars. We were able to hit 14,000 RPM, but by the time we've taken Steven's computer back to Bo Bass and had him basically put a factory setting back in the computer and start from scratch on it. So our next race, we're going to take Scott's computer out of Steven's car, of Steven's computer back in, and see how it does in hot laps.
Just
If
in
it-
case.
Yeah, if it performs, great. If not, we'll have Scott's computer there as a backup so we can swap them over, and we'll know at that point that pretty much if Steven's computer doesn't work at this point, then we know we're gonna have to buy a computer and have it reflash. So we, like Steven said, we've had our fair issues with the car, but I'll tell you what, I've driven probably 6 or 7 of these cars, different car owners and different cars that I've owned. And I'll tell you what, that 27 Steven has, that is the cat's meow. That thing will basically drive itself around the track. You know, you build to the best you can, and you know, some of these issues that you don't think about when you're building, or some of them are unforeseen issues, like the clutch being put in wrong. You don't know what these motors are when you buy them. So some of these unforeseen issues that we've had to work through, you know, in a brand new car, sometimes you get lucky right out of the box and you're good to go, and sometimes you have like we do with Steven's car and you just start chasing your tail, figuring out problems. But I think we're finally at that stage where Steven can go out and run the car, and I expect him to see probably up in the top 5, top 4.
Top 5. Because I had a run this past race going in for 5th. That's when the master got hit. I think from there I was 6th, but I had a run on 5th, and from 6th I fell back to 10th.
What kind of luck is that?
Yeah.
So a rock flies up off the track, so our
Or
master
something.
switch said this way. Okay? A rock comes up off the track, hits the master switch, and turns the power off to the car in mid-race.
You started out racing how long ago?
Oh, God. I started racing, I think my first time ever in a race car was in 90 or 91. Lucia Speedway Park at that time was sanctioned as a NASCAR track. Dick Murphy still owned the track, but NASCAR stepped in and they made it a NASCAR sanctioned track, and they paid to pave it. And they had bigwigs out there. I mean, they had Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt, you know, all the big guys before even Jeff Gordon them even came along. Derek moved in, and Carl moved in for about 6 or 8 months, and short-lived, and kind of got back out of it. My cousin Patrick, which drives my number 117 car in our class, Ford Modifieds, he's been in racing forever. So we would go to the track and watch him. And you know, once it gets in your blood, it never leaves. But just never really had any money to do it. And moved away to Alabama. Met my current wife. Moved back. Got her to go to the races. And watched Pat race out there at Lucia. That's when I decided I wanted to try it again on my own rather than for somebody else. Bought my first car off of Bobby Peterson for $2,500. Hobby stock, $2,500. Race ready. And we went out and we ran it for I think 3 races and blew the motor up in it, which was the end of the season anyway, which was fun. So built the motor for that one, went back out and ran another season with that car. And retired that one, built an 84 Camaro, which I was real proud of. That one turned out real nice. And that's when Putnam County shut down that year. I think it was 2003 or 2004. And every weekend we would have between 40 and 50 thunder stocks every weekend. And never ran a race. I ran out there for about 3 or 4 years, but never won a race. But finished 5th in points with the 84 Camaro, and I was pretty proud of that.
I mean, that's a big accomplishment coming into that was dirt at that time.
Yeah, I went back to dirt. I think 97 was when they tore the asphalt back up with Volusia and made it dirt again. So we moved back from Alabama. I think it was 2000 when I moved back from there. In 2001, I started racing out there again. I raced there from I think 2001 to 2005 on dirt. And met a lot of great people out there, and had a lot of fun. And kind of got out of it when we moved back up to Charlotte. Let it go. We lived up there for about 5 years, I think. 2005, I think we moved to Charlotte. And yeah, 2005 we moved up there.
And then we moved back down here, and I went to 9th grade.
Yeah, 2011 we moved back down here
So probably.
and started over. And then about 4 years ago, I wanted to get back into it. Started building a Thunder stock and realized it's not the same affordable class it used to be back in the day. The 84 Camaro that I finished 5th in points in, I had about $3,500 into the car, and now I got more than that just in the motor. So I got about halfway through building that and realized I couldn't afford it. And that's right about the time we found these cars. And fell in love with them because of the affordability, if nothing else. And, found out they're fully adjustable, full-blown race cars. I mean, hell, we're out there running same lap times as half the UMP modifieds out there. We're running up there with the 602, so it's a family sport.
So how about you, Steven? Where did you start?
I was probably 4 years old, 5 years old.
You're about 5, yeah.
But the only memories I have was we'd go racing, and on Saturday nights we just play in the pits. Didn't really, we were young, didn't really watch it. We just ran around the pits playing with our friends and other kids our age. And every Sunday, it was mine and my brother's job to watch the race car. That's what we could reach. We're yay tall. I mean, so every Sunday we'd watch the race cars, and that's one of my kind of only memories as a kid was racing. Going Saturday nights and watching them on Sunday. Then I had my first chance to hop in the car. October of 2019 was my first time in these cars. So almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Almost 3 years ago was my first time in these cars.
So first time in a car, what do you think?
Oh, I thought I was going so fast, and I loved it. I hop out of the car. I'm like, "Where's the video? I gotta see it." I watched the video, and I'm like, "Yeah, that can get deleted." So racing speeds now are probably about 80 to 90 miles per hour. My first time in these at Volusia, so fast track, I was probably doing 30-second laps, which is probably
For those that don't know, Volusia's a half mile.
half mile.
In Central Florida, half-mile dirt road.
I was probably going 30 or 40 miles per hour, so like half speed, and I had the time of my life. Second time out there, I was probably 2 to 3 seconds off pace. I got more comfortable. I was able to follow a couple guys that were able to show me a line, kind of where to run, because I was way too low my first time out, but I was just nervous. Didn't want to get in anybody's way, didn't want to affect anybody else, just, me in the car, and that's it. Second time out, I actually wanted to wander up and find the racing groove, give it a little bit more, and I followed, I think, 2 different cars. And the first time I was actually almost full speed, I came into the turn and I was like, well, it's either going to stick or I'm going up into the wall. And I came into the turn and it stuck, and from that moment on, I was stuck.
I'll tell you where I was most impressed with you. So Jacksonville is like a go-kart track. But
Little
it's a
track.
big go-kart
Yeah,
track.
big go-kart track, little track for us.
It's small for us and Mod Lights, but it's big for go-karts, so we could make it work. And we had a practice day up there, and Steven wanted to drive. I said, "Are you sure? It's a real technical track. It's small, it's loose, it's not a lot of real good clay, it's a lot of sand. Oh, I want to try it. So Steven goes out there and he pussyfoots around the track. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I expected. He came in, I ran it again, and actually his wife got out there.
Yeah, she did.
Really?
Phoebe got in 2 cars that day.
Yeah,
He got in one from a competitor, and she got in my car also. I think when she pulled it out of the pits, she didn't stall it after he stalled it like 5 times trying to just get it up on the track. First time out, she got it on the track.
She did.
And, we're taking turns in cars, and we're just having fun. We're just cutting up and having fun out there on the track. So it was about dusk, and he goes out in the car, and I'm not paying any attention. He gets in my car. I'm thinking it might be Will, it might be Steven, I don't know.
Yeah.
So Steven gets in the car, and I didn't know that he was in the car. And he goes out there, and I think there's 2 cars on the track, and it's going. All of a sudden, they start running. And he goes in the corner, and he's just all sideways up in the berm, just, tip out there, just eating it up. And I looked over at my wife, Valerie, to talk to her, and I said, "Who the hell's out in my car?" She said, "That's Steven." I said, "No freaking way, that's Steven in my car?" I mean, he is out there just letting it eat, giving it hell.
That's awesome.
I mean, go on. Smaller tracks are real technical tracks. Those are the ones where I learned how to drive good. Was drive Marion County Speedway to Bouldering over Ocala. Pretty much it's the monkey with the biggest balls in Volusia, and the best handling car is going to win. You get on these little bouldering tracks, and it's very, very technical. I mean, you've got to know how to drive the car like it. And that's where I learned how to slide the car sideways. Like I said, I started in asphalt. I'm used to driving the car in, driving the car out. I'm not used to pitching the car in, getting all sideways and crossed up. And
You are now.
I tried at Volusia, but I wasn't really there because it kind of scared me at first, because Volusia's a fast track. And once we raced a lot out of Marion County Speedway, it got me used to stepping the car out, getting sideways, because you pretty much, there's no choice there. It's going to happen. And, you know, I told Steven, I said, until you spin this car out, you're not driving it harder.
That's your point.
You don't know where your limit is and where your full potential is until you spin this car out. It's a brand new car.
Yours?
Or a brand new body.
Yeah, it was.
This is a brand new body. First time out with a brand new body and a brand new wrap on the car. And Steven comes into 3 and he just nails it to the floor. And he slides up around and up over the berm and into the grass and up to the tires. And wah! Knocks all the tires down, the tires go flying. He's just sitting still in the car.
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh. Words I can't say on YouTube. And I'm waiting for somebody to come over. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And they come over.
Your mom came over first.
I'm in the car like, oh, I just messed this thing up. That's it. It's probably done for a while.
Actually, his mom said that she came over to the car and he was just like this,
Dennis,
on the wheel, just looking forward. And she said, "You okay?" And he just kept looking forward and said, "It's total, didn't it? It's
I'm
total.
good.
It's
How's the
total."
car? She goes, good to go. I'm like, what? You're good to go. Okay.
Which is funny, because in crashes, especially when you're new and driving,
Yeah.
you don't know how bad the car is.
The littlest tap feels like,
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
like the end of the world. Most of the time, when these cars get together, they can continue on.
yeah.
You know, there's been instances where they don't. You know, they bust a radiator or, you know, they cut a tire or whatever. You know, you're going to have your incidences.
Front end
But-
parts.
Yeah, but
anything
I'd
like
say
that.
a lot of times, I'd say a good 60% of the time when these cars get together, they're so light, there's not a whole lot of damage done to them, so you can keep on going.
No.
It's word of mouth, and it's, unfortunately, it's friend partnership.
Yeah.
You know? I know you, so yeah, I'm gonna help you out.
Yeah.
You know, like
That's a lot
a
of it.
level above carpentry. They gave us $200 because I know him. We're good friends. Same thing with Justin Starkey at BMP.
But
I know him. We're good friends. Burt's, we went to school with,
That's
really
Dalton.
good friends. The only one outside of friendship, good old boy, I'll help you out,
Yeah.
is Pitbull.
Brittany's
Again,
boss.
that's because Brittany works for him and got him on board.
he loves it.
Getting a sponsor that I don't know, that I have no idea who you are, we haven't found that sponsor. But we've done so good. And I'm so blessed with all the sponsors that helped out, with the people that we do know with these cars. I mean,
So,
we couldn't do it. This car wouldn't be sitting right here, you know, for John Allen. You know, and all the other people. Oh, Eric Gumker.
yeah.
He put up $2,700 in my income when I blew my leg.
That's awesome.
That's huge, dude. I don't feel like I deserve that money, and I'm so appreciative of everything that we get. And I want to do everything I can to, you know, showcase. Here's what you did. We're putting you up in winter shift. We're finishing first and second every week around the track.
Can you do it?
That's what we try to do. Now that we got your car straightened out, we're looking at top 5 topics.
We kind of got a little bit of background of both of y'all's.
Yeah.
Because so we're at a point where right now, here in the now, Tim's sitting on wins, two wins, and
Got 2 wins this year. Actually, every race that I've run in my car this year,
In your car.
I finished either first or second every race. We got the car dialed in. The car is set up.
After the fuel issues.
Yeah, even after all the fuel issues and everything. I mean, it's a beast. It's a pain in the ass to drive, but I figured it out. And the very first race was in Steven's car this season. And like I said earlier, we won the heat race. First time out on the track in that car. I won the heat race in it. And then because of the deposits filling up the injectors, I finished 5th in the heat race.
I was in 6th and I was coming up and I'm like, oh, who am I catching? Who am I catching? I'm like, oh no, that's my car. I shouldn't be catching my car. One more lap and I would have had him, obviously.
But
It was underpowered.
that was the worst finish this year.
Yes.
I finished 5th in Steven's car. Every other race in my car that I've been able to run, we finished first or second.
-1 did not start because of fuel.
Right, that's when we had the fuel
We
issue.
had a fuel issue. But that's it. Other than that, first and second.
I think we're at a point now to where we can finally say his car's right. It's good to go. It's race ready, and I expect to see him in top 4, top 5 the way he's picked up on this, man.
Feels
It's
great.
like-
I've just got to fine tune, myself to it.
and you picked up on this so fast. You're doing now what took me 3 years to do. I mean, these kids are getting these cars now, including you. I call you guys kids because I'm 50, but I mean, you young guys getting these cars, you pick up on this so quick.
We
I
kind
mean,
of have no fear.
You guys figure out in 6 months what took me 2 years to figure out these cars. I think a lot of it is nerve. I really do. Like I said, it's the monkey with the biggest balls and the best handling car that wins evolution. That being said, I'm 50 years old. And I'm no spring chicken. I'm not old. I'm not out of my prime or anything, but I don't bounce back like I did. And I think that gets in your mind where you guys are born. When I was you guys' age, nothing could hurt me. I'm going to live to be 200 years old. I don't care what it takes. I'm going balls to the wall. I'm all out. I'm a little bit more reserved, so it took me longer to get up to speed with the other guys than what it takes you.
Well,
The cars are in good shape, man. My car is a rocket ship. My car is fast as hell. It's tough to drive, and my car is fast. Steven's car,
easier to drive.
It's much, much easier to drive.
It's
smoother
to drive.
I think we still got Jeff Newton's car over here in the shop. We're trying to finish that up. We just kind of got burned out because we built Jesse Power's car, we built Ryan's car, we built the 117 for Pat to drive. Ray Schaefer's car, we helped on that. We didn't build Ryan's car, but we helped on Ryan's car. We helped on Ray's car. We helped on Pat's car. We built Jesse's car from the ground up. Well, not ground up. He brought a chassis here that was built. Jesse Powers brought a chassis here that was built by another builder, and he wasn't real happy with the design of it.
Yeah.
So we cut a lot of stuff off of that car and kind of redesigned it. So it was almost from the ground up, but it wasn't ground up. But I mean, we built that car. We're constantly working on Jeff's car. We have a lot of people that come in the shop in and out and have repairs done or upgrades done or bent the nose or we wrecked it, we got to repair it. A lot of that going on, and we got really burned out. We got really, really tired. So this summer we kind of took a step back. We're focusing a little bit more on work, a little bit more on just Stevens and my car. Jeff's car, we're poking at it
Here and there.
We got another 3/4 modified or TQ late model that we're converting over to a 3/4 modified. We're getting there. It's got good bones. We need to stick with it. We need to get on it and get it finished. But we got another car in the shop that somebody else bought. He didn't want to invest any more money into it, so we thought about buying it, finishing it, and selling it. We just don't have the time or desire right now to put anything into it. So we've actually got a chassis jig that we built off of Steven's car. So we're just trying to get through this season low key, finish out what we have going on, not taking on any more big jobs. During the off season, I'd like to pull that jig down and try to build a car from ground up. That's something I've always wanted to do: is start from scratch, build a car from just pipe, build something that can go out and be competitive. And that's kind of my goal now. Winning the race at Volusia last year at the Dennis North, that was my Daytona 500. Now my next step is I want to build a car from scratch, ground up, and take it out to the track, watch it run, watch it finish in the top 3, watch it scale every week. Finish in top 3, and that's kind of my short-term goal.
What's the plan for the last few races of the season moving into the end of the year, and what are we looking as time frame for future? How do y'all feel in 5 years and say 10 years? If y'all could play it out the way y'all want.
Well, for me, the main goal this year is I want to keep finishing top 1 or 2. I've never had a points championship at Volusia. And I've always wanted to have that points championship. Once I get that, I can kick back and relax a little bit. My goal for Steven is to, now that we've hopefully got all the bugs worked out of his car, I want to see him top 3, top 4, top 5. I mean, at the end of the year, the last 2 or 3 races, I'd like to see his car scaling every race. Scaling means you finish in the top 3. That's kind of my goal for this year. I don't want any catastrophic failures at this point. I want to kind of cruise easy through the rest of the year, not make any major changes, not set the world on fire. I'd really like to win the championship, and if I don't, there's always next year. But more importantly to me is see Steven's car moving up towards the front of the pack. He's developed a skill to be there. Hopefully, we got the car now to be there. So
Well, we know we have the car.
we do. We know we have
We
the car.
know we have the car. It's
Even
just
with the issues we had, Paul Shed put that car in what, third place at Volusia,
third place, had a hard run on second at Volusia, ended up finishing third.
and ended up finishing second at Bubba's. So that was with issues where the car wouldn't get over 12,000 RPM. So we know the car's there
And
now.
the clutch.
And the clutch, yeah.
Yeah.
So we know the car's there now. I think Steven's skills are really, really, really close to being on par with what the car can do now. It took me, like I said, 2 or 3 years for me to build up to what the car was capable of. He has excelled leaps and bounds this year to where I think by the end of this year, his skill is going to be where the car is.
Yeah, it's all seat time, and that's why I want to travel to Bubba's, run a couple of races there, have maybe one, maybe two at the Bull Ring this year, Marion County Speedway, just to get the feel for different tracks, different type of dirt, different driving completely. Because I know all that will transcribe back to Volusia, which is my favorite track. My goal for this year that I set was top 10 in points. Right now I am 3 points out of 6th, so I've kind of changed my goal to I want to run for the top 5. If
You
I
can make it. You can.
If I
You're
can
knocking
do,
on the door.
if I can pull a top 5 this year, which isn't going to be easy because I'm about 40-ish points off of 5th,
Now you're talking top 5 out of an every week show.
16 cars
We're
on
having,
average.
we're having, I would say between 14 and 18 cars.
Yeah, so 16
So
on
I would
average.
say a 16 car count average is what we're having.
And I want to try and pull
we're
top
talking
5.
his first season out. He's got potential to finish top 5 his first season out of an average of 16 cars.
Which is really impressive.
Yeah,
That's very
I'm
impressive.
7th right now. I know I'm 3 points out of 6th. And I think I'm about 40 points out of 5th.
But yeah, I mean, you
So it's going to be
if we
tough
got
to
the
get
car
5th,
right,
but
if we got the car right and you got your head right, I think by the end of the season you can do it. Because we still have, I think 7 races left this year?
something like that.
Yeah,
Somewhere around
something
7.
like that.
6 or 7 races left this year. So, I mean, yeah,
Something
you
around
can
there.
definitely do it.
But I know my first race, full power, shoddy clutch, wasn't full. I got comfortable. Track was a little, we had some rain come through and the track was a little rough. So I had kind of some issues putting it where I wanted to put it. But, by the end of it, I was comfortable enough to run a line that I could stick to. And even with the master switch cutting off, I was still able to pull back past 2 cars and row in the other, row back in 6th and 7th place to almost have a 6th place finish.
And that's
maybe
with every
5th.
lap, the clutch getting worse and worse.
Yeah, at the very, very, very last lap, as I came through the checkered, I hit the rev limiter coming past the checkered, pulled up through, had nothing, and I'm surprised it held together through the race. Let me get through the race and pull back past the 2 of the guys, 2 out of 3 that were able to pass me, pulled back by them, had a run back on the guys that I was battling with in the beginning. So it's just from here on out, it's just seat time.
Yeah.
Getting more comfortable, getting faster, getting smoother. 'Cause I'm still not smooth. I'm getting there, but these are
From what we watched through the YouTube videos, if you take from when you first started, you first started like you were driving like a Felix box.
Yeah.
And now you like you said, you've come a long way.
it's all seat time. It's getting used to your car, getting used to how it drives, where it likes to drive. If you need to drive somewhere else, driving there, and just it's all in your own head. I mean, I am nervous as a dog sitting in staging. We're pulling to the backstretch. I'm trying to make fun of it, have a good time. In the back of my head, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Once that checkered flag goes, or the green flag goes, nothing. It wipes all clean. It's me, the car, and what's in front of me.
As far as the future goes, I mean, I don't know where I want to go. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm kind of burned out from all the cars that we built. I'm happy to take a break. But I can see if the rest of this year goes smooth, I kind of like to add another car to our team. If we can add another car to our team, I'd like for interview pilot, William. William he's a natural ball driver. He really is. I can see adding another car to our team. In the next 5 years, I don't want to get much bigger than that. If we have 4 cars in the team, that's plenty of YouTube footage.
Oh yeah.
Between 4 cars.
At that point,
that's
you have
plenty of-
Hendrick Motorsports too.
Oh yeah.
That's plenty of maintaining too.
My thing is, I enjoy racing with friends. I enjoy racing with family, and in this class, I don't know if it happens in every class, but in this class, a lot of drivers and friends become family. There's a lot of people that come to me for help on their cars. There's a lot of people that I know I can go to if something happens at the track, if I need a part, if I need help. The family camaraderie and bond that we have in this class is like no other. I would love to see that continue. 15 years, I'd love for Catfish Posse to be, kind of like a household name, like, Longacre or Longhorn or, Masterbuilt Chassis or Rocket Chassis or, Richard Childress, I mean, not that I have any aspiration to be in NASCAR or anything like that, but, you mentioned RCR Racing, everybody knows who that is. You mentioned Joe Gibbs Racing, everybody knows who that is. At the end of my time in racing and everything, the Catfish Posse is just kind of like, oh yeah, I know them guys. They're great. That's a great team. If everybody knows who Catfish Posse is, I feel like I've succeeded. Because the Catfish Posse, we're all about helping out fellow racers. We're all about, having fun. You know what? Keep the money. Keep your stickers. Keep everything. Give me that piece of shit $2 plastic trophy at the end of the night, and let me take my picture with that checkered flag. That's what it is to me, and it means as much to me to see him with that checkered flag, or you with that checkered flag, or Jesse with that checkered flag. I don't know how many times I've run back up to the front stretch, congratulating competitors. People that I finished second to on the track. I get through the scales as fast as I can, jump out of the car, and run to the straightaway because I want to congratulate my friends and my family, whoever's up there in Winter Circle.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it's about. It's about having fun and the bond that we have at the track with other people. And if Catfish Posse can leave that legacy, having fun and helping our fellow competitors out, that's my main goal. That's my long-term achievement.